Just let me know when you guys are ready. All set to go.
1 second.
All right.
Here, there.
Good.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Trooper Joe Sudarellis with the Connecticut State Police Public Information Office. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Our purpose today, or our goal today, is to try to provide you with some information regarding the ongoing homicide investigation taking place here in the town of Litchfield. This evening, shortly before 5 p.m., troopers at a Troop L in Litchfield, along with Litchfield police officers, were dispatched to the area of 46 West Street here in town after receiving 911 calls regarding a disturbance in which a firearm was discharged. Upon the arrival of responding units, one adult male was located in the parking lot of the aforementioned address, suffering from a gunshot wound. This individual succumbed to the injuries sustained during the course of the incident. The shooter has been identified. A firearm was recovered from the scene. And State's Attorney Don Gallo, at the request of State's Attorney Don Gallo, our Western District Major Crime Squad detectives responded to the scene to assume the investigation into this homicide and are currently on scene processing. Again, we are at the infancy stages of this investigation, so a lot of information may be limited, but I'll try to do my best to answer any questions that you guys may have.
What's the name of the shooter?
So the identity of the shooter or the identity of the deceased will not be provided at this time. Again, in terms of the deceased, we're still waiting for the medical examiner to arrive on scene and notification to next of kin to be made. But as soon as that information is available, we will try to provide that.
So 46 West Street is a law office of Kramer and Anderson. Does it involve anyone with that law office?
So we do know that it involves a party that is associated with that law office. However, again, the identity of this person cannot be disclosed at this point.
Is that the suspect or the victim that is associated with the law office?
Again, the identities of the suspect or the victim will not be disclosed at this point.
Can you say, no, but can you say, if you said that it involves a party associated with the law office, can you say which one? Is it both?
Once that information is available, I'll be able to release it.
But at least one person is
Yes.
associated
Yes.
with the law office.
Cooper, did you just call it a homicide?
It is a homicide investigation, correct.
Do you know if the person that owned the firearm had a legal permit to carry that firearm?
It was a legal and licensed carrier, so we do know that information.
Do we have a motive at this time?
At this point, the motive's unclear. Something that detectives are working to determine. Again, the relationship between the shooter and the deceased are unknown at this point. We do believe that they know of one another, but in terms of the exact relationship between both parties, that is unknown at this point.
So a weapon was recovered at the scene?
Exactly.
Is the suspect cooperating?
Suspect or the subject of this investigation did provide a brief statement to law enforcement officers. So yes, we can say that the subject of this investigation is cooperating with law enforcement officers.
You're saying subject to the investigation. Does that mean we're not considering a suspect? Clearly there's a victim, but the other person we're not considering a suspect at this time?
It's very early. We're at the infancy stages of this investigation, so it's way too early to tell. Detectives are going to be working to determine exactly what transpired prior to the shooting to try to determine exactly what happened.
Can you talk about just kind of the concern of this? I mean, happening in the middle of the day, just across the street. It's a very busy outdoor dining kind of area. So
there was definitely concern to nearby residents. Again, we want to reassure everyone at home that it appears to be an isolated incident. There is no threat to the public, but again, it could be something that was extremely alarming to those that were nearby.
Does this appear to be at all a self-defense situation? Can you speak to that at all, or is it still too early?
I think the detectives are still working to determine the motive, or again, anything that might have transpired prior to the actual shooting, to determine exactly where we are in this investigation.
How long are detectives expecting to be out there for tonight?
They're going to be out there for several hours.
So no one is facing charges at this point?
It's way too early at this point to determine whether or not someone will be facing charges. Again, detectives are going to be working this case to determine exactly what transpired prior to the shooting, to determine what course of action will be taken moving forward.
And So the shooter, the person subject, is not in custody at this point?
The subject is with law enforcement officers and again being cooperative.
But not under arrest?
No, not under arrest.
Are you able to give an age range of the victim?
I wouldn't be able to do that at this time, sir.
Are they both male, the two individuals?
I would not be able to provide that information at this time. Any other questions?
What are the next steps in this investigation? I know you said the state's attorney's officers are being
Yep.
contacted. Talk to us, walk us through the next step.
So again, the medical examiner will be arriving on scene to assume the deceased and perform an autopsy. And detectives will be working to identify any potential witnesses and any potential video footage that could paint a clearer picture in terms of what transpired prior to the shooting.
Do you have any message to those at home that may have, video cameras in their home that may face this business, this law office? Are you asking them to contact and come forward with any information or videos they may have?
Absolutely. So we encourage any member of the public with any relevant information to this investigation to contact Troop L in Litchfield and provide that information to detectives working the case.
Is the subject that who is not deceased, did that person call law enforcement as well to report what happened?
Yes, this individual did contact law enforcement immediately after the shooting to report the matter.
And how many shots were fired?
We do know at least one shot was fired.
And did the shooting happen outside, or did it happen somewhere inside, came outside?
It transpired within the parking lot of the aforementioned address.
The entrance, so it says on the outside or the front of the building that the entrance is in the back. So is the back considered the entrance area? Or?
Correct.
Were there witnesses around, other people close in proximity when whatever happened went down?
So we did receive 911 calls from a potential witness, and again, detectives will be working to identify and make contact with that witness to obtain any type of relevant information connected to the shooting itself.
Yeah, but at this time, it appears that this was an isolated incident between two people or two parties at this time. And
Correct.
two parties.
Correct. No threat to the public. Just want to again reassure our viewers at home that there is no threat to the public. This does appear to be an isolated incident.
If you're not calling the shooter a suspect, would you consider calling the shooter a person of interest? Is that more of an accurate description?
I think a subject would be accurate at this point. Thank you all for coming out. All right.
Thank you.